Hey guys, it's Aaron from Team Man Game, bringing you another set review for G-BT10 Raging Clash of the Blade Fangs. This episode is going to go over the little bit of Gold Paladin support that we get in the set. There is one reprint for Gold Paladins this set, which is Fang Liberator Garmore. The reason Garmore's being reprinted in this set is because it links in to the first triple rare, which I'm going to go over, and that is Golden Knight of Gleaming Fang Garmore. He's the new main stride for Gold Paladins this set. He has 3 skills. Act on the Vanguard once per turn, GB2. Choose a card from your drop zone and put it to the bottom of your deck. Reveal 6 cards from the top of your deck. Choose the same number of your units as the number of high beasts revealed. Until the end of the turn, they get 4k, and if 4 or more cards were chosen, this unit gets +1 critical. Shuffle your deck. Second skill, act on the Vanguard, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. If you have a heart with Garmore, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, call a card from among them to the rear guard and shuffle your deck. And last skill, Continuous, this is also a Royal Paladin. So there's quite a few things to go over this card, so I'm going to split it up into basically 2 topics. One being this card considered as a Gold Paladin, and the other, this card being considered as a Royal Paladin, since it gives it 2 deck applications. So since it is primarily gold, I'll start with that. I'll go over the second skill first, since it's the easiest one to talk about. It requires you to have a Garmore heart, which is the reason why the Liberator Garmore got reprinted for the set. However, it is still the only Garmore grade 3, so you can't consistently ride Garmore, therefore this skill isn't that consistent. I see it as a nice bonus. If you do manage to ride Garmore, then you can plus a card using this skill. I wouldn't say it's the main focus. The main focus is its first skill. Now it's a really easy, cheap cost, no setup involved, just put a card from your drop zone back to your deck. Notably, it does say card, so you can put triggers back, which is great. The power gain to your rear guards is nice, however the main reason this card is so good is because it gives your Vanguard a critical. This is the only Gold Paladin stride out so far that can give or get a critical, which is the main reason you'd want to run this card. However, the problem with this card lies in the fact that you need to reveal high beasts. For Gold Paladins, depending how you want to look at it, this is actually quite hard. The most notable thing about the high beast restriction is you can actually run a full trigger lineup of high beasts. You have Banagal Liberator, which is a high beast heal. Notably, it is also a Liberator, so it works for the Liberator archetype. If you want to run stands, you have both Flogal Liberator and Chasegal Liberator, which are stand triggers. Chasegal Liberator is also one that returns to the deck for an extra card. Unfortunately, there are no Liberator crit triggers that are high beasts, but you still have Air Raid Lion, Dantegal, and Scarface Lion. Scarface Lion is notably your Gurguit crit. Unfortunately, that's where our luck runs out. There are not that many grade 1s, 2s, or 3s that are high beasts that are considered good enough to run. Grade 1s do not have any notable high beasts apart from a few Liberator cards, which means that will be restricted to a Liberator archetype deck. In grade 2s, again, similar situation, nothing really stands out apart from Bullergol, which is a Unite grade 2 that was released in G-BT10 and gets 5k when it attacks a Vanguard with Unite and GB1. That is a high beast, I currently run it in my deck and it's a really good card. And grade 3s you can pretty much forget about. There's no decent Vanguard that's a high beast. Even then, you'd still potentially want to run Garmore if you're running Liberators, and if not, Gurguit, and they're all humans, so there's no chance of you having high beasts there. So as nice as the power gain is, and getting the critical, the chance of revealing 4 out of 6 high beasts is quite slim. I still think this card is really great. When more support comes out for Gold Paladin, if there's more high beasts in there, that can potentially buff this card quite a lot. At the moment, since it is possible to run a full trigger lineup of high beasts and tech in a few grade 1s and 2s maybe, it's still possible to get the crit, but I wouldn't rely on it. And due to those reasons, at the time of this card coming out, I think it's rather mediocre since you're not that likely to get the critical. Now on the flip side, since this is considered a Royal Paladin, you've also got those to consider. Now Royal Paladin have been around for so long, they have plenty, and I mean plenty of triggers for you to run a full trigger lineup of high beasts. Similar with grade 1s, there's a lot of grade 1s that are high beasts, the most notable one at the moment probably being Blaster Friend Barkcore, meaning you can chuck him in a Blaster archetype deck with the Blaster engine, and Sonic Goal being the other one, which was the Nationals promo from last year, which is a Brave archetype card. Again, it fits really well in there. Grade 2s don't have anything that amazing, the only thing that I can see is Escort Eagle, which I see commonly run in Brave decks, and there's also Dual Knight Sword Me if you're running Dual Knights. There's also not a single grade 3 Royal Paladin High Beast, so again you can forget about putting grade 3 High Beasts in there to make it easier. Ultimately though, seeing as this card is a Royal Paladin card, I see is completely irrelevant and negligible. Since this is a GB2, it's essentially your second stride, but if you want a crit, why don't you just go into Saint Blow? Sure, this one gets the power gain, but since you're risking the crit on the reveal of the top 6 cards, I think that's negligible, and you're better off going into other cards. The only plus about running this in Royal Paladin is if for some reason you're running the Garmore support in there. But that means you're running a 10k base Vanguard deck. Unless they bring out support later on, I don't think it's worth it. So overall, this card considered as Royal Paladin, I don't think it means anything because you wouldn't run it in Royal Paladin, there are better cards for it. And again, in Gold Paladin, it's got great effects and it's got potential, but with the current support the Gold Paladin have in terms of high beasts, I think it's quite weak. You can up your chances with criticals and a few units here and there, but ultimately I think we need more cards that are high beasts in order for this card to be good. Second triple for golds is Holy Sword of Heavenly Lore Gurguit. This is the new Gurguit stride. As an act on the Vanguard once per turn, counterblast 1 and choose a face down of this card from your G zone and turn it face up, and choose a card from your hand and discard it. Until the end of the turn, this gets Auto on the Vanguard Unite. When this unit attacks, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, call a card to the rearguard from among them and shuffle your deck. And it gets a second skill, Continuous on the Vanguard, all your units get 2k power for each face-up card with Gurguit in its card name in your G-Zone. So since you're discarding a card for this, for the cost, and then you're calling a new card, it is essentially a 1-for-1, but chances are when you call that card with its on-attack skill, you have 2 options. You can either call it to an empty rearguard circle and get a plus out of it, or you're more likely going to replace a card that's there just to get an extra attack off. Either way, it's either a neg-1 or a 1-for-1, so you break even. It's not that amazing. The second part of getting 2k for each of your Gurguits in the G-Zone, that's quite nice, considering this flips it up. On this card's first stride, all your units will get 2k each, meaning each column gets 4k. It's quite nice, and if you use it later on, it can potentially get more, especially since you have Sunshine Gurguit as a stride as well. I think what actually makes this card good though is the fact that this can be your first stride and be a GB2 enabler. I think that's where this card shines, since it does actually do something relatively threatening, either being an extra attacker or a 1-for-1 toolbox card. I don't think it's amazingly powerful, but it's a good utility card for early game, and it can put on the pressure late game with the power gain. Overall, it's a pretty decent card. I won't call it amazing. It will probably take the place of my first stride, since it's a definite GB2 enabler, compared to what I'm currently using, which is Rising Shine Dragon. And it's probably a 4 in G zones just for that early game GB2 enable and then a late game power finisher. Also worth noting, since the final skill is continuous, any new cards you call will get the 2k power, unlike with Sunshine Gurguit and unlike Raining Dragon. Last triple for golds is the new Gurguit, Golden Holy Sword Gurguit. Again has 2 skills, Continuous on the Vanguard, GB2 and Unite. All of your rearguards get Intercept, and Continuous on the rearguard, this unit can intercept from the back row during the battle that your Vanguard was attacked. Second skill, during your turn when your G unit strides, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, call a card to the rearguard from among them and shuffle your deck. If you call a unit with the Unite ability, look at the top card of your deck and call it to the rearguard at rest. So this card coming into existence means you can run a full grade 3 lineup of Gurguits, which is really nice for any Gurguit restricted cards. The stride break is quite nice since you still call the card, but for an extra soul blast you have the potential of calling an extra card as long as it has Unite, which will then activate Unite just from a stride break, meaning you don't have to call an extra card. And just like the other Gurguit, I like the fact that this Gurguit has a defensive GB2 ability that is active on your opponent's turn. However, since this is behind a Unite restriction, it does mean you have to guard at least an attack with at least 2 cards, so a perfect guard won't count, since you still need to call 1 more. Though it's still a really easy restriction to get by, since you can just double intercept with your front row, that activates Unite, and then you can intercept the back row if you need to. It's a really great skill, since it means you can intercept with grade 1s and open up spaces to call new cards to activate Unite on your next turn. Nothing bad to say about this card at all, it's an amazing card. The original Gurguit's already strong, this just makes it even stronger. Gold Paladin also got a couple of double rares. First is Knight of Daylight Kinarius. As a continuous on the rearguard, it unites. If you have a Vanguard with Gurguit in its card name, this gets 4k power. Second, when this unit is placed on the rearguard at Generation Break 1, you can discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and call a card from among them to the rearguard, put the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. So the Unite skill is really good. It gets 4k, not 2k like other clans do, so this is a 13k grade 2, meaning it's really hard for your opponent to just niggle over it. Honestly, I'd say that's the best bit about this card. The second skill does allow you to activate Unite once this is called. However, I'm just not a big fan of the fact you have to discard a card to do so, though it does have its applications as you can get rid of a useless card in your hand and find a unit that you need. Overall, pretty solid. I suppose I would rather still have a card discarded from my hand than Counterblast, since Gurguit is a very Counterblast heavy deck. Still not sure if this would be run in the current lineup for Gurguit, but it's definitely a good card and it deserves experimenting with. We get yet another Perfect Guard for golds, Holy Mage Alessia. So this isn't a new Perfect Guard that can guard anything, it still only guards the Vanguard. However, it has a Unite ability. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, you can choose a rearguard put to the bottom of your deck. If you do, this gets 15k shield till the end of the battle. It's not a bad card, honestly. I mean, it's stuck behind Unite, which might make it a bit tricky to use. However, if you don't want to or can't use the Perfect Guard skill to discard a card and stop it being hit, you can just get a 15k shield bonus for this at the cost of a card on your field. It's not amazing, but I like the utility. I still think that the countercharging Perfect Guards would be better for Gurguit, so this could probably go in another deck, potentially. It's still nice to see that some Sentinels are getting extra skills that can give them shield, as I remember seeing Shadows getting one the other day as well. Moving on to rares, we have Golden Dragon Build Peak Dragon. It's a new stride, it has a skill at Unite. When this unit is put into your G zone from the Vanguard, countercharge 1, soul charge 1. Also continuous on the Vanguard, this gets 3k power for each of your rearguards. So another beat stick stride, gets power based on your rearguards. Saw something similar to this in Shadows the other day. However, what is quite nice is this is just a countercharge soul charge, if you have Unite active obviously. But it's quite a nice utility stride, honestly. If you're stuck for Counterblast or Soul, you can just stride into this for a turn, get the resources back, and then set up for a nice push next turn. It's not a terrible card, honestly. It is a bit slow, so you should really be managing your resources better, rather than having to go into this, but it's nice to have the option there. Next is Knight of Teaching Judon. It's grade 3, Vanguard Rearguard, Generation Break 1 Unite. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, call a card to rearguard from among them, shuffle your deck, and that unit gets 3k power till the end of the turn. So it's a grade 3 with an on-hit ability, incredibly slow and hard to use, especially since the new Gurguit is released in this set, meaning you can run a full set of Gurguits. I don't think this card is going to be used at all in any build, honestly. If they're going to make grade 3 rearguards, they really need to make it with a quicker rearguard skill. Something like on hit isn't good enough anymore. They need to make it powerful enough to make me go, ooh, I might actually run this instead of this main grade 3 that could be my Vanguard. So something like this just isn't worth the cut at all. Moving on to commons and grade 2s, we have Holy Mage Rossa. She is Generation Break 1 Unite on the rearguard. For an active Counterblast 1, you can choose one of your other units until the end of the turn. That unit and this unit get 2k. It's a pretty simple skill, gives 2k to 2 units. It isn't restricted to once per turn, so you can Counterblast many times. However, for Gurguit, Counterblast is quite restrictive in the deck, so it wouldn't be used there. You could potentially use it in other decks, but I don't think this is powerful enough to be used at all. Next we have a new Liberator, Liberator Stiletto Hawk. So GB1, when it's placed on the rearguard, due to the effect of one of your cards, you may have this unit get minus 2k power. If you do, this unit gets boosted until the end of the turn. So it's a nice utility card for Liberators. The idea that it doesn't punish you for calling a grade 2 in the back row, which is quite nice. If there's space, I would say you could potentially use this card. Also worth mentioning, it is a high beast, so it does synergize well with the new Garmore stride if you're planning to use Liberator Garmore base for the deck. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. It's just a nice utility card that has the potential of being used. It's an okay effect that probably won't hinder your deck, but you wouldn't run it unless you want to focus on the high beast restriction for a Garmore deck. Next is Holy Mage Maraine. 8k grade 2, continuous on the rearguard and Guardian Circle, GB1 Unite. this gets 2k power and 5k shield. So she's a 10k on the rear guard and a 10k shield in the Guardian Circle. Nothing too amazing here. The fact it's stuck behind GB1 and Unite means that more or less she's going to be an 8k during your opponent's turn, which means that the 10k is irrelevant, so it's only there for attacking power, but it's not consistent enough in my eyes to run. And an extra 5k shield on a grade 2 is not too different from a special intercept, so again I don't see it's worth running at all. There are better cards. A couple of new grade 1s, Chasegal Liberator. When this unit is retired from the Guardian Circle at GB1, if a card has not been put into your damage zone, you can Soul Blast one to draw a card. It's a pretty good card. I remember Oracles had a card similar to this as well that had the exact same skill. Essentially just Soul Blast to refund this as a guard back to your hand. Worth noting, it is a high beast as well, and it is a Liberator, so again works well in the Garmore Liberator build. Pretty solid card, and you can potentially run it elsewhere as well, because there's no drawback or restriction to it other than GB1. Next is Banagal Liberator. When your other unit is placed on the rear guard from your deck, you may Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. If you do, that unit gets boost. So it's very similar to Stiletto Hawk that we saw a minute ago, except this already needs to be on the field, and has a Counterblast Soul Blast cost. If this was a 7k, I could potentially see it being run. Because it's 6k, it just makes it that little bit harder to use, and a Counterblast and a Soul Blast is a bit of a hefty cost. It is a high beast though, and it is a Liberator, so you might be able to put it into a Garmore deck. However, I still think that this is underpowered and not worth running at all, even if it does help with consistency. And last but not least, we have our two new triggers for Gold Paladin. Sparkling Flash Glint Knight, which is a new critical. This one is vanilla and it's a human, so it's not high beast. And a new draw trigger, Explorer of Good News. Again vanilla and human, not a high beast. It does kind of annoy me that they released all this high beast support in terms of the Garmore stride, but they haven't released any new high beast triggers. But what you're gonna do? And that concludes this set review for G-BT10 Raging Clash of the Blade Fangs for Gold Paladin. Thanks guys for watching. Please stick around for the next set reviews to come out. I believe the next one is going to be Tachikaze, done by Michael, so look forward to that. Until then, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, follow us on Facebook, and we'll see you guys later.